fear will come, challenges will come. But when you are dealt with fear, when the world, the life that you're living deals you that card, the Enyimejatu Woga, what do you do with that card? Do you face it? Do you take flight? Do you freeze and be stagnated? And having this conversation with us yesterday was Dr. Wale Akinyemi, and we're just going to continue with that particular conversation. This is Advice Circle. Dr. Wale, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
Awesome.
Great. Yesterday we spoke about fear, and there's so many things, even outside of ourselves, that will sort of like be a barrier to the things that we want to achieve. There will be conversations from other people not believing in your dreams. But fear is something that you do to yourself, something that comes from within you. So it's sort of like an enemy within you. And we spoke about that yesterday and how we identify that this is it and how it shouldn't hold us back. So today we just want to look at how then, when faced with fear, do I overcome it?
All right. Excellent. Now, again, I'm going to tell a story. You know, I like telling stories. So, 1961 to 1974, Angola had what was called the War of Independence. And then 1975 to 2002, they had a civil war. So basically, they were fighting from 1961 to 2002. 500,000 people lost their lives as a result of the war. 4 million people were displaced. And just like with any war, industry was paralyzed, agriculture was destroyed. Now, 19 years after the end, not the beginning, after the end of the war, landmines are still killing people. And the majority of those being killed are children who are not even born when the war ended. The nation has over 1,000 minefields, which remain a clear and present danger. Now, listen, besides those being killed, Angola has an estimated 80,000 people living with scars and disabilities from landmine explosions. And they have, listen, in all those minefields, they have over 1 million undetonated landmines. People cannot farm as they want. Lives of people have been constrained. Now, where am I going with this? We have seen this for the nation of Angola. This is a reality of nations at war, landmines. But it is also true in the life of human beings. We all have these landmines, and these landmines not only destroy, they constrain. And these landmines, if not taken care of, they will blow us out of existence. They exist in our personal lives, our relationships, our professional lives, and all that. And so today, when we talk about confronting fear, I want to ask, how secure is your dream? It's one thing to birth your dream. It's one thing to overcome the fear of kicking off. It's a totally different thing to see that dream arrive at the place where it can be. Many dreams have started well, but have been hijacked and derailed along the way. It could be business, like I said, relationship, or life goals. What is the best way to protect our dreams from derailment? How do we ensure we don't add to the statistics of shipwrecked dreams? Now you're going to see where the fear thing comes in. Many are walking about with undetonated landmines. This could be character flaws, it could be weaknesses, but of all landmines, one of the most lethal is the landmine of fear. What is the landmine of fear? You see, fear, or why is fear a landmine? Fear clings, it clings to you. Many think by virtue of the fact that they started and they executed their dream, they have overcome fear. Nothing could be further from the truth. We need to understand the clinging nature of fear. Even when you overcome the initial fear of starting something, of stepping out, fear always hangs around because fear is an opportunist. Fear hangs around to take every advantage. So, maybe you had a fear of relationships, for instance, and then because of your history, and your history becomes more powerful than your destiny. Now you have that fear. Maybe you overcome it. You get into the relationship, and then, just as you're expecting in most relationships, you get into some bumpy rides. Guess what happens? Fear shows up. Hello, I'm still here. I told you this relationship was not a good idea. All right. And that scenario repeats itself in every area. So if we don't proactively do something to silence the voice of fear, many will still remain in bondage. Just like the landmines have stopped people, the landmine of fear will stop people. So how do we deal with this? Landmines are not just left hoping that somehow they become useless. They have to be detonated. Similarly, fear has to. And there are two ways to detonate the landmine of fear. Number one is knowledge. You see, the power of the dark over you is because you cannot see what is around you. So when you get into a dark room, just a slight flutter somewhere, you can panic. But when the light is on, there's no fear. This is why I keep telling people, you cannot afford. The person who does not read has no advantage over the person who cannot read. It is so important. Every fear you have, every challenge you have, there is a book somewhere that has addressed it. So important you make sure, and you see, you need to eject fear with knowledge, because the more information you have about something, then the bolder you become concerning that thing. So when we are reading, and we read the way we do, I'm on my 9th book of the year 2021.
Whoa.
I am not something better to do.
Uh-huh.
I cannot afford to allow fear to rise up in me. So knowledge, the more knowledge you have, the more fear is ejected. All right? About anything. I didn't know how to swim. I was so scared of water. I thought I could drown in the bath. But the more I understood, the bolder I became. So knowledge is one way to detonate fear. Whatever area your fear is coming from, look for something that has been written, look for other people's experiences, see how they dealt with it. Then the other way to deal with fear is confrontation. Mines have to be confronted. You have to go to the mine. You have to detonate it. Fear not confronted is fear permitted. The only way to show you have conquered fear is to confront it. So let me tell you a story. One day, my wife Taiwo and I, we went to Kitale, and we got there at about 10 p.m. And so we were staying at the Agricultural Research Institute. Now, I remember as we were driving in that night, there was a dog, wild dog, that began to run alongside the car. So I told Taiwo, I said, man, I feel sorry for the person who would be outside with this dog. And so we laughed about it. Now, the following morning, I got up early, said, okay, I'm going for my morning walk. So I went for my walk. I was happy. When I was coming back, I heard it before I saw it. I just had a deep growl. And I looked, and that guy was beaming its teeth at me. And so I saw. Then I looked around. Is there any tree to climb here? How does one even get away? There was no tree. So I took a step back. When I took a step back, that dog, it moved forward. I took another step back. Now, what I noticed was that every time I took a step backwards, it seemed to get bolder. So every time I took a step backwards, it became more ferocious and more aggressive. Then the unthinkable happened. As I took a step backward, I tripped and I nearly fell. So to steady my balance, I had to take a step forward. Now, when I took a step forward, the dog took a step backwards. I said, wait a minute, did this just happen? So I got myself together. I was scared stiff, but you see, you got to do it afraid. You know, I was scared. So I took another step forward. And then the dog took another step backward. Now we had turntables around. So each time I stepped forward, I became more confident, and the dog seemed to get even more terrorized. Do you know? I got so confident, I screamed, I ran at it, and the stupid dog ran away. Many times, many times, the thing we are fearing is fearing us, but we give permission to fear. So, knowledge and confrontation. Where the fear is coming from, get knowledge about it and confront it. When you do that, let me tell you, you will be amazed at how you begin to humble your fears. And in so doing, you are detonating the landmines that can destroy you in future.
Absolutely. That is so powerful, Wale. That is so powerful. And just to look at the way we are scared of little things in our lives, you're scared of going to ask for that pay rise, you're scared of going to ask for what is yours. But if you just put yourself in a space where you try and do one scary thing every little day, as small as it may seem, as small as it may look, then maybe later you're able to even face the bigger fears in your life.
Absolutely. Let's start with the little things. Let's start with and that's the thing. A lot of times people want to start with the big things. Start small, think big, and grow fast. Start small, think big, grow fast.
Good. That's really good. There's something else you mentioned as well. Just that was like my take home. You said something about fear being permitted in. We allow that to happen to us. So it's also important for people to know that you need to be in control of that fear. It's you who is allowing it to come to you. Because when you eventually conquer the fear and you look back, you're like, that wasn't so bad. That wasn't so big. I could have done this a couple of years ago or a couple of months ago or yesterday. So it's
Yeah.
all a change of mindset.
There was this, let me tell you a story. There was this girl that I had a crush on when we were in school, yeah? And gosh, I really liked her. But I just couldn't muster enough courage to approach her. Okay? So my friends knew that I had a crush on this girl. Her friends knew, but I could not muster the courage to go. Why? Because of the fear of rejection. So, fast forward, many years later, we were now both married and all that. So I met her, we had a class reunion party. And so I met her after so many years. I said, Wale, you know you're a mumu. I said, why now? She said, do you know I had a crush on you when we were in school? And I heard that you had a crush on me. In fact, I was told that you were coming. She said, and I was waiting. I said, I asked her, I said, my goodness, why didn't you tell me? She said, well, I was just waiting that you will come, and that's where we tell people good things happen to those who wait. It's a lie. Good things happen to those who take it. Opportunities have no owners. Are free for all, waiting for who will be smart enough to take it. You know? So imagine if I was not happily married to the best woman on earth. Imagine how bad I would have felt. You know?
Oh my goodness. I like how you say that. I like how you say that. If you are not married to the best woman in the world, then you would be very frustrated. But then we thank God for
Yes.
Taiwo. We thank God for Taiwo. But that just shows us that we need to confront these things. Sometimes we're just scared of something that is
Yeah.
it's just an imagination of what that thing is and how big it is. And really, 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 when you come to look at it, it's not that big. It's not that big. And if you think it scares you that much, then just start small with the little things that will lead you to the big thing. You know, I'm excited about next week because also that ties in with what we're talking about and how our mind is in, it is in total control of everything. Like if we master our mind, then we're possibly able to conquer anything. So next week, we're going to be talking about mindset. We'll meet up on Monday. Maybe you can give us a sneak preview of what we'll be looking at and if you're going to expect some more stories from you, Wale.
All right. I'm just going to make a statement. We all pray about stuff, we all desire stuff and all that, but life will never reward you beyond what your mindset permits. Let's leave it at that.
Okay, Wale. You have conversations on social media, on YouTube as well. Please give us your handle so that people who have questions can send them directly to you as well and even catch up with you on your YouTube.
Yes, YouTube, Wale Akinyemi, and Twitter. I'm very active on Twitter. Every morning, I send out something to juggle thinking at Wale Akinyemi on Twitter. And then my website is www.thestreetuniversity.com. Thestreetuniversity.com. All right,
Absolutely.
cool.
Thank you so much, Wale, for creating time for us this morning.
Thank you. See you next week.
Great. Have a great weekend and the rest of the week. We are taking a very short commercial break, people. This is Full Circle with Mikali. We'll be right back.